Good morning everyone and welcome to Will It Steam Controller, the show where we ask the question, can I play this game with a Steam controller? And as we all know, the answer to this question is always a resounding yes. This time we're looking at a little known title that came out in November of 2011. Skyrim is an open world first-person action-adventure RPG. What? What's that? Wait, really? Are you freaking serious? Well, so much for doing something original. Okay, I've been informed that everyone and their dog has played Skyrim, so I'll cut to the chase. I'm playing on the OG version, although I've heard that the Special Edition has native Steam controller support, which would be very nice. I'll be working without that feature here, though. I decided to go with a lesser-used type of character, a Dark Elf Ranger Assassin, something that hardly anyone who plays Skyrim uses. Are you serious? Okay, whatever. This config will work no matter what kind of character you play as. Skyrim turned out to be much more of a challenge than I initially thought. The game refuses to accept mouse and keyboard input if you've got the option turned on for controllers. I really wanted to go with mouse and keyboard inputs for reasons that I'll go into later, so I had to get a little creative. I won't bore you with the little details like simple button replacements. There'll be a link in the description for you to try this config yourself. Since I'm using all mouse and keyboard inputs, I lost the ability to have analog movement on the joystick. I got around that by some clever use of the outer ring binding function. By default, the game has auto run turned on, which means that when you press W, A, S, or D, you'll move forward at running speed. Only when you hold shift will you move at walking speed. So to emulate a sort of analog movement with the joystick, I set the outer ring binding to be the shift key, but then made sure to turn outer ring binding invert to on. With the joystick set to the WASD keys, this means that when the joystick is inside the outer ring binding radius, it presses the shift key. But when I move the joystick to the edges, it releases the shift key, simply holding whichever direction I'm moving and letting me run at full speed. Every so often I would run into a problem where this behavior would get reversed for some reason, and pushing the stick all the way would make me go at walking speed. So I set the joystick click to be caps lock, which toggles the auto run function in the game. There's several important hotkeys that get used pretty often, like looking at the map, opening your inventory, magic, or skills. So I decided to put all of these things in a radial menu on the left trackpad. I love using these things, especially when I find the perfect icon to use to represent what the button does. It makes the config that much more polished and intuitive. Did you know that you can create your own icons for this? I'll have to try that sometime and maybe make a tutorial on it. And now on to the entire reason I wanted to use mouse and keyboard inputs instead of controller inputs. I wanted to have gyroscopic inputs for mouse aiming, and that's not really something you can do with the controller inputs that well. I wanted to have Breath of the Wild style aiming. The right trackpad is set to mouse movements. I like to have this set to low friction so that when I want to turn quickly I can just flick the trackpad, let it roll to what I want to look at, and then put my thumb back down to stop it. This lets you do really quick 180 turns, once you get the hang of it. The gyro is also set to mouse movements, though I set it up so that the gyro aim is only active when my thumb is on the trackpad. This style of aiming is useful for very fine movements, letting you track targets smoothly, which can be tricky on the trackpad. Using these two methods of aiming together can take a little getting used to, but it allows you to have pinpoint accuracy every time. I like to have both my trackpad and gyro aim to be pretty sensitive. This creates a little bit of a problem when using the menus. For the most part, you can use the joystick to navigate through them, but some things, like clicking on items in the map, still need mouse movement. To remedy this, I created an action layer called Low Sensitivity Mouse, activated by holding the left grip. Normally, the left grip toggles sneak mode, but if you press it while in the menus, it doesn't do anything, so it's perfect for switching to another action layer. This action layer removes the gyro aiming, reduces sensitivity on the trackpad, and turns off acceleration. This allows for much easier navigation of the menus when you need it. I also decided to put a scroll wheel on the left trackpad, which lets you zoom in on the map or change the position of your camera in third-person mode. And there you have it. Now you can sneak, shoot, fight, and explore to your heart's content with the Steam controller. I had a lot of fun making this config, which should be pretty simple for anyone wanting to pick up and use. Let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions for things to change. Also, I'd love to hear any suggestions y'all have for games that I could do for this series. Thank you so much for watching.